Guys, welcome to the Caring for Creatures show. My name is Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us. On a Thursday afternoon, this program spotlights Caring for Creatures, which is Central Virginia's first no-kill animal sanctuary. For more than 30 years, Mary Birkholz and her team have been saving the lives of the most at-risk animals across the eastern seaboard and welcoming them to Fluvanna County at CFC and its sanctuary. We try to spotlight the stories and the partners and fantastic news from CFC on this program. And I think on that note, Senor Wickhauer, Judah Wickhauer, our director, why don't we go to the two-shot and welcome Mary to the show. Hello, Mary.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great.
Good, good.
I'm great.
This looks chock full of news.
It's really loaded here today.
Mary Birkholz, what is going on?
Okay, so we're going to start with, I know you all remember Christmas in July with Animal Connection, Patty Bowden. Well, she collected, and thanks to the help of a lot of you folks here, 1,896 pounds of food. And I just found that out today, actually. So I stopped by the store before coming over here, and we snapped a little photograph of that. So I don't know if we have that available for everyone to view.
Judah's putting it on screen. Thank you, Judah.
Okay, thank you. So it's a huge pile of food. So I'm so grateful. And it's good, healthy food, and all the dogs and cats will be loving it.
Almost 2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Put that in perspective on how long that'll last.
Okay, so if we're just talking dog food, we go through about between 35 and 40 pounds a day. So without a calculator, I can't exactly tell you. There you go.
Yeah, I don't have that brain capacity either. So you go through 40 pounds a day.
Let's say 40 pounds a day.
Okay, so 1896 divided by 40. Shoot, that is a lot of days here. We got 47.
All right.
47 days
how
of food.
Huge that is? That's huge for us.
A month and a half.
Yeah, it's so perfect. So thank you, Patty. Thank you, Charlottesville and Beyond Community, for helping. This is just perfect. We thank you. We also thank our sponsors, Charlottesville Veterinary Hospital here in Charlottesville, Marty Betts and the rest of his partners and crew, wonderful folks over there. They are doing a summer food drive also for us and the Fluvanna SPCA. You can drop off your dog, cat, kitten, puppy food, and they'll make sure it gets distributed to both groups. Pet Supplies Plus, also Charlottesville, and a deal there too. If you're shopping for your own dogs and cats, pick up a 5-pound or larger bag of Redford Naturals dog or cat dry food, and everything you buy, you'll get 10% off. So I think that's pretty cool.
Love it.
And then Happy Tales in Palmyra, for those of you out at Lake Monticello Way, you've got a great store out there to pick some supplies up. So I encourage you to visit them. They do some grooming over there also. So we have some activities that you can participate in that we hope you will. We still have ongoing our end of summer fundraiser. It's sort of our dog days of summer. We need help. Summer's a very challenging time for us and maybe many other nonprofits as well. People are out and about doing things, vacationing, what have you. So historically, it's a time when we get less money. And at $1,000 a day, you don't want to get too much less.
Right.
And things start getting
$1,000
rough
a day to keep CFC
to keep
going.
us moving
Donate.
with the basics. Yeah,
Caringforcreatures.org.
And this campaign is going to, every gift is going to be in honor of Tulip. Tulip was a mama dog that, if you've seen the show recently, we've spotlighted her and her 6 puppies. Tulip gave everything she had to these puppies. She gave her life, actually. And once the puppies were eating and on their own, we pulled her as much as we could to try to build her back up, and she suddenly crashed. And as it turned out, she was working with failing kidneys. So we had to let Tulip go. Her babies, there's only 2 left. 4. Some have already gone out on adoption, 2 females left. So get on our website or give us a call if you have an interest. But go to our website, donate to that fund in memory in honor of Tulip. or you can go to thegivinggrid.com. That's another online site a lot of folks choose to use, and you can upload a photograph of one of your animals as you donate. So it's kind of a fun website to visit. So we have like a weekend, a Friday, Sunday, Monday, in another week or so. August 16th, Bold Rock Hard Cider in
Nice.
Nelliesford
Yeah, love that
is
spot.
doing their Barks in the Barn Yappy Hour. Barks in the Barn Yappy Hour. It sounds like it's going to be fun. You know, free treats for the dogs. For every pint sold, $1 will be donated to Caring for Creatures.
Cool.
We're going to have a couple dogs out there for you to visit. Watch our Facebook and website. I'm not exactly sure who we'll be taking. It's from 4 to 9 p.m. on Friday, August 16th. Sunday, August 18th, at Orvis store at Stonefield here in Charlottesville. They're doing the We Love Dogs kind of special day, and we're going to have some dogs there from noon to 3.
Okay.
On that Sunday, August 18th, there are going to be some special stuff there. Also, you know, refreshments for you and your dog. So come on out and visit, and, you know, we'll be inside the store. So visit us then. And then Monday, 8/19, Dual Chef Showdown. I have a hard time saying that really fast.
DualChefShowdown.com.
Yeah. It's at the Tin Whistle. John Shaughnessy of Commonwealth and Chris Humphrey of Fellini's are going up against each other.
Nice.
Coffee is their common ingredient.
Excellent.
And the diners vote on which course they feel of the two is the one they prefer. At the end of the evening, a winner is selected. So it's like the Food Network thing. You get to be
Iron
the judge.
Chef.
Iron Chef, yeah,
Yeah.
you can judge. It's really fun. There's 2 seatings, 6 p.m. and 8 p.m., and CFC will benefit from that as well. So if you haven't been, I suggest you give it a shot.
Tickets at DualChefShowdown.com. Benefits Caring for Creatures. I think that's the first sizzle reel right there, Judah, for Mary. And we're going to start potentially a second sizzle reel before we welcome Heather of Scottsville Supply Company, and people are itching to see you. I see this on the feed here. The second sizzle reel here, and that's a highlight clip from the show we do, is going to be this one, Judah. How about some animal spotlights?
We have 2 spotlights today. Owen is our dog spotlight. Owen is about 4 years old. He's probably a hound terrier mix. I'm not exactly sure.
Put Owen on screen for us, Judah Wickhauer. All right.
Owen's a great dog. He's got a lot of energy, but boy, does this guy love to play. He loves toys, and he can entertain himself for hours. So if you have a dog or you need a dog that you'd like not to be so needy of your time all through the day, Owen might be a match for you.
I see some JRT potentially, right?
Yeah. I think he can be hound. He's too big for a
JRT,
full JRT,
right.
But I think he's a hound terrier mix of sorts. Yeah,
Okay.
He's a handsome guy.
He is
and,
handsome.
Yeah.
Athletic?
And just loves to play.
Okay.
And one of our kitties, July. Should have done her last month, but July was trapped at the end of our driveway at Caring for Creatures some years back, and she had babies. She was a great, great mom. Tuxedo, black and white. She's about 6 years old right now. Very unassuming, quiet. She even accepted an orphan kitten for us. Yeah, that came in with no mom and really needed to be nursing. And you never know. Most cats, I don't know if you've ever seen this, you probably have, are open to taking on cats.
Interesting.
Kittens from other moms, or if they need help. Yeah, they don't like you. You're not one of mine. They're very caring. And many years ago when we had a nursery, if you will, with a lot of mom cats and kittens, and every day we had to mark which kittens went with which mom, because overnight there was one of them who went and stole all the kittens and put them in her basket. So they love to help each other out. But July is kind of a quiet, unassuming girl, and I think she's going to make someone just a wonderful, wonderful companion. And she does fine with other cats too. So,
Sandy Van Nostrand says maybe part Border Collie on Owen.
maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's an American classic.
There
Let's put
it
it that
is.
way.
There you go. The best of the best. Yeah.
Now we have, before we get
Before
to
we get
Heather,
moving, one more step.
we have a video.
We have a video of Mr. Owen.
Okay, and Judah, you have that video ready to go? How about we count you down here, sir, and 3, 2, 1. Judah, you'll count. So that's Owen.
Owen, yeah.
Available for adoption,
Adoption.
Mary Birkholz.
Yeah. He's a fun dog. So if you'd like to meet him, get with us. Give us a call. Send in an application.
Caringforcreatures.org for those adoptions. Judah's our director. Why don't we go to the studio cam and welcome Heather to the
Heather!
show.
Yay,
Hello.
welcome.
Dixie and Danny say July is so adorable. And Heather, you're now on camera. First, hello.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Appreciate it. Happy to be here.
Talk to us about, before we get to Scottsville Supply Company, about yourself, passions, hobbies, interests, who you are as a person.
Yeah, so just a typical gal. Loves the outdoors, loves to read, and loves my bees. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
You live outside Scottsville?
Sure do. So just outside town limits, our
Okay.
family lives on a little 2-acre lot with our little, we'll call it mini farm, chicken, cats, dog, bees, garden. So,
Dang.
yeah.
That's a lot going on right there.
Staying busy.
Staying busy. What brought you to the area?
Relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Tell us about Scottsville Supply Company.
So Scottsville Supply Company was established in 2015. We're just a small retail business with e-commerce, and what we do is we specialize in helping people keep and raise honeybees. So if you walk into our storefront, you're going to find beekeeping equipment, everything you need to get started or maintain your beehives. But we also offer educational courses if you've never seen a honeybee other than when it was stinging you, to actually learn how to keep bees, and then continuing education, which is kind of where we're at right now in the middle of the year. And then we also bring in the live bees in the spring. So you actually come to Scottsville on certain days, and you get your lot of bees out of a couple million bees, and we sell them by the pound. These are sold by the pound. And then you go home and you put them in your hive, and we say, congratulations, please don't kill them, and you're a beekeeper now.
That's awesome. What is the,
So-
what was the, go ahead, Mary.
All right. So I have this question, and I had read somewhere, which was probably not true, but you can tell me, that scientifically, if honeybees did not exist, or if they all died thanks to some of the human things we do to the planet, that humans would be non-existent 4 days later. So that's kind of scary.
That's a scary thing, and we'll go ahead and say that is not true.
Yeah.
Okay? So what we're going to deal with is, first, the starting fact that honeybees are not even native to the U.S. When we came from Europe, we brought them with us because folks in England that was part of their way of life.
Huh.
So it was a source of sweetener before cane sugar, and we had granulated table sugar on the table. And then also it was beeswax for candles before electricity. Yeah. And they're also pollination for our crops. So it was just a part of a way of life. And when the settlers came, the bees came with them. And Virginia was the first location to have a record that we have been able to retain. It's a shipping log from 1621 that bees arrived in America in Virginia.
How did honeybees impact the ecosystem when they arrive from England?
So we could call them an invasive species, but they're really not
Okay.
invasive in a negative way. As long as we don't overpopulate by throwing 500 beehives every acre, they're not going to push anybody out. What we have done is integrate them and completely incorporate them into agriculture in the U.S. today and throughout the world. So we no longer have small farms where a farmer has 50 different crops, like maybe our grandparents or great-grandparents did, but now we have monocropping agriculture, and they're integral today. So we could never back away from the way we raise our produce and our fruit without backing away from honeybees, or one losing the other. It wouldn't be sustainable.
Huh.
Interesting. So, if they're not native here, what did Native Americans, how does pollination work without them?
So North America has over 4,000 native bees, and they do pollination as well as other insects. Flies do pollination, beetles do
It's just
pollination, moths do
no
pollination.
honey.
Right, so no excess honey,
Gotcha.
which is the
Okay.
sweet stuff that we're
Yeah.
going for. But honeybees are great pollinators, because I consider honeybees OCD, and I consider native bees ADD. And the way I break that down is our honeybees, when they go out on a foraging flight, they only go to one plant species. They'll bypass every clover field, every tulip poplar, if they're going to go to a buckwheat field. And they only touch buckwheat flowers, which is how they do such a great job in pollinating. Where a lot of native bees and native pollinators, they don't live in a social group of 40 or 50,000 like our bees do. It might only be them. They might be a solitary bee. They're just going to hit every flower they see. It's like ADD.
Okay.
So
That's
it doesn't matter if it's clover or coneflower or what they necessarily touch next. So while they can pollinate, it's not quite as efficient.
Okay.
How did you get so passionate about bees? I mean, give me that flip book story here.
So I like to joke, hi Jennifer, my wife had this idea of we're going to go to a bee class. And I was like, a what class? So we go to
How old were you?
I don't want to give out ages. Old enough to drink.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
So we go to this class, and I was like, yeah, we don't need to do that. She's like, yeah, we do. She's like, this will be really neat. One of our friends in Ann Arbor has bees, and so we got bees, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. I don't know, they just sung to me in their own little buzzing binaural way. And Jennifer still enjoys it as well. We just turned it into a business. She has a full-time job, healthcare, very important, elsewhere at the university. But we turned it into a business, and now I get to share this with everybody that walks through our front door.
Cool. How about trials and tribulations of the entrepreneur running a small business, launching a business? I mean, no easy task.
No, anybody who owns a small business can attest to, first you got to figure out what you don't know, which is usually a lot if you've never opened a business before. So you just learn about business. There's lots of educational opportunities in Central Virginia to understand how to do a business. So we took business classes to understand what it means to set up a business and then to run a business. And then you just figure it out, figure out your marketing. Mary does a great job of that. And one thing I'll say, Mary, Amazon Smile.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, so
Heather discovered this.
Yeah,
yes.
while we are small business owners, we are terribly guilty of shopping on Amazon. So, but if you do shop on Amazon, you can go to the Smile side of Amazon and find the Caring for Creature, and then that's how you check out every time, and it just automatically gives Caring for Creatures a little chip of that. So it's super
it's easy.
easy. Yeah, we write checks, but we shop on Amazon.
I love it. Yeah.
But small
not?
businesses are great.
I know.
Yeah, everybody's guilty.
We're
of
not
Amazon.
recommending you do all your shopping.
Right.
It's so convenient. I do
Because
the
I don't want you to find your beekeeping equipment on Amazon.
No.
Sandy Von Nostrin says, that is so cool about the honeybees, guys. Give it a like and a share on any of the feeds that you're watching. John Craig, welcome to the program. A lot of people watching right now. Laura Bonner, hi, Mary. I'm an
Hey.
old friend of Caring for
Yes,
Creatures.
yes.
Angie and Laura Bonner wanted to update you on Gracie. I hope we can talk
Oh,
sometime.
yeah. I've seen a lot about Gracie, yes.
Sarah Hernandez, hey Heather, we're loving our bee adventure. Thanks for being a great resource to beginners and seasoned beekeepers alike. Cheers, great to see you on the show. Wes Carter says, awesome Heather, great work. How about give us a good firsthand anecdotal of some of your customers going to your business, falling in love with bees like you did, and just like relay a fantastic customer experience to us if you could.
Oh, Wes is who just chimed in. He's a customer in a non-traditional beekeeping way. So before we even opened our store, we were working on our original storefront in Scottsville, and Wes and Aaron, just being friendly, stopped in. We're like, hey, what is this going to be? And so we explained to them that it's going to be a store about honeybees. And they said, oh, we have bees at our house. And I said, oh, no, they don't belong in your house. So we worked very hard to help Wes and Aaron remove their bees from their old farmhouse where they should not be living between floor joists. But they have been great friends and great customers ever since. But we have lots of customers that walk through the door. And the thing that we hear the most is, I've been thinking about doing this for years. I just didn't know where to get started. You know, there's no beekeeping stores in Charlottesville. There's not actually one in Richmond. But hey, you can find one in Scottsville.
Yes.
And you can go in and you can touch everything. You can try a bee suit on. You can put a veil on. And now we have hives out in the back we can go show you. We can take the little scare away from it. They're not going to harm you. You know, we just need to know
Because there
how
is
to-
that
So,
stigma.
yeah,
there
there
is.
is.
Yeah. So bees are
People-
not aggressive. They're defensive of a home. And only if you act like a bear around them and start tearing their house apart without being gentle and working with them, will they kind of get riled up.
So how many times have you been stung?
I think
Can you
it's still
count them
double
on-
digits. I don't think I'm triple digits.
Oh,
as far
okay.
as like in my skin, I can't speak for my suitor gloves,
Yeah.
which I always wear
Yeah.
protective clothing now.
Yeah.
There's occasion, anytime you think, hey, I'm just going to go do this real quick, stop. Put your suit on.
Yeah.
Take your time. If you don't have the proper time to do it, just don't do it. But yeah, it's probably like 75 or 80. But it would literally take about 1,500 stings at one time for it to be
be
potentially
an
fatal
issue.
for somebody my size. And I'm not a small
So
gal.
how long does a hive last? I mean, do you have the same, what is the lifespan?
So
of bees?
we would love a honeybee colony, a superorganism of 50,000, 60,000 bees to live forever. They have that ability with turnover and with raising a new queen. But in today's world, it's really a struggle. So we, on average...
How come?
Oh, that's a can of worms. I can touch on that, and I'll touch gently. But I'll just start by saying Virginia is definitely struggling as one of the states that has the worst success rates as far as keeping bees alive in the U.S. We don't have the breakdown for this past winter, but the winter of 17 and 18, Virginia beekeepers lost 59% of their hives over winter. 59% of their
Dang.
bees
Wow.
over winter. And you wonder how that's sustainable.
Yeah.
There are ways where it is sustainable and we can replace bees, but we should not be losing bees at that rate. You know, before acceptable loss rates were 10, 20%. I mean,
A year?
A year.
Jeebus.
Yeah,
Right.
so but you think about if you're any other type of farmer. Let's say you do cattle.
Yeah.
What if like 60% of your cattle die every
Right.
year? You would not stand it.
No.
So beekeepers are a little crazy, okay? So we can replace those bees, and it just gets expensive for the hobbyists. But there's a multitude of things that are affecting our bees today. We get some bad names with some pesticides and some companies out there, and there is that portion, without a doubt, that harms our bees. Then we talk about nutrition, right? Gut health is in the world today.
Yeah.
It's a big, big push for gut health. Bees need it too. There's a lot of studies going on that they need variety and they need healthy food. But every time we grow as a society and we lay down more pavement or more green lawns, okay, those are deserts for pollinators and a lot of insects, they lose forage availability and variety in food. We don't want all this monocropping surrounding everybody. You can't live on milk alone. You can't live on beef alone. We need variety. So do the bees. But one of the biggest impactors of bees today is an external parasite. It's a parasite, which we can do more about. In fact, 2 nights ago, I went down to the Farmville area and spoke to the bee club. There's bee clubs. You can join them. And gave a presentation on mites, which is this external parasite, and overwintering your bees successfully, because it is such a big impactor. That's the number one culprit, is this parasite.
Why is this not in the mainstream media more?
Well, because it's easy to blame a large company. It's easy to blame economics. The complicated subject of a parasite, but if we break it down easy, deer ticks and Lyme disease.
Right.
This mite, this parasite, is in that tick family, so it can transmit viruses and diseases to bees.
Get out.
So they're not directly dying from a parasite, it's indirect. And this parasite feeds off of bees too. So bees that get fed off of while they're babies only live 2/3 of their lifespan capability. So they're going to die earlier. So it makes that turnover of bees less sustainable, and eventually you just have a colony that dies out.
Wow. When Ed Clark was here from
Yeah.
the Wildlife Center, he was talking about the bears and mites and sarcoptic mange. And bears, all of a sudden now getting sarcoptic mange. And that's, in the last few years, new. Mm-hmm. It's not been there. And now you're saying mites can affect bees too.
Right.
Or do affect bees.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow.
And this mite that is impacting our bees, which are Western European honeybees, they got introduced into the U.S. in the late 80s. So if your grandfather or your great-grandfather kept bees, they didn't have to worry so much. You might have memories of them going out with maybe a veil on a couple times a year. You got the honeycomb with the honey, and life was great. They did not struggle to keep their bees alive. They didn't have to feed sugar water to supplement food like we do today because of our landscape change. Sugar water is just empty calories. It doesn't provide nutrition like nectar and pollen do. So it's just more of a challenge today. It can absolutely be done. Just come to my class now. But it is possible.
Plug it.
Yeah, so we do classes. We do pest and disease management because this is a hobby, but it's agriculture. So you have to be aware of pests and diseases. Right now, we're doing our classes to prepare people for the winter, how to get your bees ready to be chilly for 3 or 4 months.
Wow.
Tim and Fluvanna's DMing us and asking what a hobbyist rig looks like.
Yeah, so...
Is it a rig? Is that the right terminology?
Hive.
Hive? Yeah.
Boxes, whatever you want to call it. Bee house, I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just a single stack of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes that this colony, you have a colony of bees, and then you have a bee hive. It's just the house they live in. And it grows vertically as that colony expands, and then we can shrink it back down a little bit when they get a little smaller for winter. But every stack of bee boxes that you see is a single colony. So if you were to go to my house, you'd be like, 1, 2, I can't lost count. I don't know how many hives I have today, maybe about 24. It's hard to keep up.
Oh, wow.
But you just count the stacks of boxes, the stacks out there.
Get out of town.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Amazing. So do they
I have so many questions.
Yeah, me too.
This happens a lot at our store. It's really, you guys fell for it.
So you have 24 colonies.
Yes.
Are they all related?
No, completely distinct individual, own their queens.
Started.
And they all get along?
Mostly.
There's no territorialness with the bees?
Well, we have Italians, we have Russians, so no, it's...
You've used that line before. That was a
You
good
should
one.
come to our honey bar.
That was good.
You can get buzzed and still drive home. You can pick up a local honey and still be okay.
Okay.
The honey bar is good, by the way.
Yeah, you did a great job.
I helped serve that day.
You did wonderful. Without training. You did
without training.
So we primarily use Italian bees in the U.S., but there's Russians, there's carnelians. There's a lot of different subspecies and stocks. So every colony is just doing its own thing. It's in survival mode like any other creature.
Yeah.
Every minute of every day. Now, sometimes will they fight over resources? Yes, because Mary, if you're a beehive with a colony and I'm a beehive with a colony, and you have 40 pounds of honey in you, I'm looking at you like, I want some of that honey.
Yeah.
And so we actually can come and rob you of your honey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there's guard bees at the front door of any hive, whether it's a tree hollow or a man-made hive, that are there to check ID at the door. And they sniff each other for family pheromones. And if you belong, you can come in. And if you don't, they're going to fight you.
Wow.
But I'm strong, so I'm going to overwhelm you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go in and I'm going to take all your honey.
So you could come in with an army.
I could. I will get all
Yeah.
my sisters.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because all the worker bees are all females. They're all related,
Okay.
sisters and half sisters, and they will go and overwhelm another colony and take every drop of honey you have.
What makes a queen bee a queen bee?
Diet.
Like, how does she become the queen?
Right, diet.
Yeah?
Yeah, totally diet. So a little bit of biology here. So you only have 2 types of eggs in a honeybee colony. You have a fertilized egg, which is a female egg, and an unfertilized egg, which is a male egg. All the males are drones. You guys don't do anything. You just get fed and groomed, and you go out and mate and die, and that's a long story.
Okay.
That's really short. And all the women, the female bees, you're just a fertilized egg, but you have workers, and then you have one queen for the entire colony. So it's all diet. Have either of you heard of royal jelly and its magical powers?
No.
No? Okay, so if you go to a lot of health food stores
Yeah,
or specialty
yeah.
stores, you'll find royal jelly capsules that
Yep.
you can ingest. You have face creams with royal jelly incorporated in them. It's just a high-protein superfood. A lot of people want to eat it. It's a delicacy. But a high dose of royal jelly baby bee food will turn a fertilized, developing egg into a queen. If you're destined to be a worker, you get put on a diet. And some of that royal jelly is cut back, you develop differently, and you become a worker bee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Get out. Did you know this?
No, I didn't know how that happened. Yeah.
So is the queen the toughest bee in the colony?
no, it's actually no compliment to get called the queen bee.
Really?
Yeah, so throw that T-shirt out that you got for Mother's Day.
So that's another stigma.
Yeah, so it's the queen. She'll live 2 to 5 years, where everybody else only lives about 4 to 6 weeks.
Get out.
Yeah. So this is why you
I didn't
gotta
know
come
it
to
was
my
that
class.
short.
This
So
is-
you want to be the queen then?
You want to be for longevity, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all you do is lay eggs. Once you go out one time to get mated and you come back in, you never leave that house again. So you're just inside, walking around, looking for empty cells on the honeycomb to lay,
Wow.
on average, about 1,500 eggs a day.
Dang.
And if you slow down, your daughters might nip you a little bit to hurry you along, saying, let's go, Mom, we got to keep the sustainability up. We got to have those babies. And
Wow.
we got to have that turnover. We got to have that new adult blood coming in. All you do is lay eggs. You don't get to go anywhere. You don't get to do anything. You don't
So
get to
is
relax.
a lot of the colony then incestual?
So your queen will go out and get mated. She mates on average with about 12 guys, 12
Okay.
drones.
Okay.
So you have sisters and half-sisters.
Got it.
Yeah.
Weird. I had no idea.
I know I didn't either.
So
That's
how
why-
long is this?
Yeah.
The show's like 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure.
It is.
Fascinating.
So many things that you just don't know. And if I wanted to start a hive,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of an investment would somebody have
Good question.
for a basic
That's
beginning?
that's a great and fair question. We get asked that a lot. So I'll just touch real quickly that there was a grant program that the VDACS, Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, has done for the last 2 years, where you could apply as long as you gave up a W-9 instead of state inspector, come to my house, big brother, and you could receive free beehive equipment. Limited on what you got, and it was just the physical hives, not the bees or anything like that. They started that program on July 1st this year. From what I understand, is it filled in about 16 hours. So it's no longer available, so you can't get
Wow.
free hives anymore. Just to put that out there, because we get asked that a lot. So that program exists, but it is done for their fiscal year already. So if you were to walk into a storefront like ours down in Scottsville, or browse a website like ours online, then you would find that to start a beehive, the physical hive, plus buy some bees, because that's how we do it today. You got to buy
By the pound.
By the pound. You got to buy those bees. And traditionally, we start with about 3 pounds.
Okay.
About 10,000 bees.
Huh.
Yeah. Yep. But you got to grow them.
Yeah.
And then you need some sort of protective gear. I want you to protect that pretty face. You know, we got to make sure we don't end up with big swollen eyes like some of us do on occasion. And you need some tools to work. So starter cost average about $500.
Okay.
But I always tell people, look inside yourself. Are you a Hyundai, a Chevy, or Mercedes? Because you can vary that cost a
Sure,
lot.
of course.
You can walk out to start one colony of
extras
bees.
do
You get what you
want?
pay for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could spend upwards of $1,000. You could go well below $500. We'll just say about $500.
So what is the like the responsibilities of upkeep, like from a time standpoint? Mm-hmm. And then besides the personal gratification of nurturing and watching your colony and hive grow, what is the yield that you get with this hobby?
So we'll start with the yield, because I have another bad joke for that one.
Okay.
Yeah, so really enjoy that first $1,800 jar of honey you're going to get.
There you go.
So that's a little reality. So I like to joke also that it's not as much work as chickens. Chickens are almost a daily thing. You need to go out and make sure they have food and water. You got to collect eggs. Anybody who has chickens, sometimes you regret having chickens.
You're getting props on the feed for that joke, by the way. People are tapping the like button right now.
On the $1,800 jar of honey.
Yeah, you've used that one before.
I have.
Valerie Tanner, Darlene Shanks, Deanna Smith,
Hey, Darlene.
Sarah Hernandez,
I'll see you
Davey
soon.
Meyer, Ashley Halligan.
Yeah.
They like that joke.
Yeah. I'll see some of them at class either tonight or this weekend. They're doing their continuing education. I'm grateful for that. So the work, I always say for a first-year colony that you're nurturing to grow to be that full superorganism that it needs to be, you're going to need to go check on them once a week, once every 2 weeks. If we hold off and we wait 3 or 4 weeks, we can have a sudden issue, a decline. And it wouldn't have been sudden had we been monitoring it and caught it a little bit early. But every week or two for a first-year colony, it backs way down after you get them through that first winter and they're strong and healthy and they're doing their thing, right? We want them to live forever. It's not always feasible, but your workload goes down tremendously. What we all know as beekeepers, if you have your own bees, is you're going to worry about them every day. That we can't stop. You're going to have stress dreams about your bees. You're going to worry about them all winter long. You know, it's just inevitable. You go out and look at them every day.
How about bears?
Bears,
Around
yeah.
here, there's a lot of bears. Do
there
they
are.
take them out?
Yes, they do. So
That's happened to you?
thankfully not, but if you come down and visit us, you'll meet Billy. Hi, Billy, if you're listening. And Billy will tell you about his bears. His bears are doing great. His bees, not so much, because his bears are really well fed.
Oh, really?
So bears are seeking a lot of different food types, just like everybody
To
else in the world.
survive.
To survive.
Yeah.
So a beehive is actually a really great resource of protein. We don't think about it so much in that respect because we all grew up reading Winnie the Pooh.
Right.
Right.
Going for the honey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's just carbohydrates. A bear wants protein. Bees are protein.
They're
Especially,
eating the bees themselves.
absolutely, the babies. Yep.
Do the bees hurt the bear?
No, so the bears...
Is it the fur?
Too thick, yep. The only where they're really sensitive is on the tip of that nose, and that's where we can bring in an electric fence if you're comfortable with that. There are some other passive ways to scare off wildlife away from whether
Well,
a
like a
garden
scarecrow?
no, only if we're willing to go out there with a shotgun and just shoot it in the air occasionally.
Okay.
But
that would
there's
terrify me.
another product. There's another product out there that simulates a lightning strike and a flash. And it scares a lot of wildlife away from, a garden and a
Right.
beehive.
Yeah.
And it works. So you don't have to go big and bad and put up an electric fence, especially if you have other animals that you like or small children. You can go a little easier on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but bears in our area are a threat. And I always tell people, if you're willing to make the investment in bees, then you need to protect them. And sometimes it's as easy as an open field. A bear is a creature that wants to stay alive, and crossing an open field is something that's not always willing to do, but a hungry bear will go through anything, field or electric fence.
We've had that.
Yes. So there's other precautions you can take.
You're getting props. You're getting props here from Deanna Shelton Smith. Am I saying that right? And she's saying, we love Scottsville Supply Company for all our beekeeping supplies, friendly and helpful staff, great work, Heather. And then she says, the bears, unfortunately, are not quite as fascinating to me. Give it a like and a share on any of the 7 channels that you're watching. How about the Scottsville community? Seems like they've really rallied around you.
Yeah, so, before we opened the store, I'm a transplant to the area. I relocated from Northern Virginia to come down here, and I love it. It's quiet, it's tranquil, people are great. But before we opened the store, I didn't really venture into the town of Scottsville. You get in your car and you go to Charlottesville. And I regret doing that for the number of years that I lived outside of the town limits. But we've met so many people. I'm on the Scottsville Chamber of Commerce board.
Nice.
So meeting more business owners, meeting more community members, actively involved with our town staff, our town administrator and clerk, and our mayor. And it's been wonderful to get to know everybody.
What do you think Scottsville, if you had your druthers, what do you think Scottsville needs?
Let me pause and come back to that. 'Cause
Sure.
I want Bold Rock to relocate.
You want Bold Rock? You like Bold Rock?
Dude, I love Bold Rock.
Bold Rock is
We'll
so
see
good.
you at Bold Rock.
Yeah,
Bold Rock is so good.
I gotta visit my brother that weekend.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
We'll do it again.
Yes, please.
So how about, I would say, some jobs?
Yes.
That would be a good one to meet, right?
It absolutely would.
Yeah.
So there was a tire plant down there for a number of years, and now it's no longer. So economics with Scottsville, is with any small town, is always a challenge. How do you bring in a large employer? Because I would love to say our business is doing great, we'll never get rich, but we'll keep the lights on. But in reality, I can't employ more than my 2 part-timers, and I love them. But it's hard to get a large employer in a small town. But yeah, so it would be great if we had an employer in Scottsville.
I love the town. It is absolutely adorable. It's so friendly. I love walking down Main Street. I love going to Tavern on the James. Love going to James River Brewery. I love the vibe. It's like so like hospitable and like welcoming and like safe and like caring and approachable. I mean, I just love.
Yeah, I like
Scottsville.
Scottsville. It's been a favorite of mine. And over the years, when I very first relocated, actually, from Northern Virginia also, to start caring for creatures, there was a restaurant, Cafe Bocce. We used to
Cafe
go there.
Bocce.
Yeah.
He opened over here.
He did.
And he was the mayor of Scottsville.
He was. He
Yeah.
was, yeah. And they drew the Charlottesville crowd.
Christopher Long.
Christopher
Chris
Long,
Long.
yeah.
Mhm.
Chris Long. And they drew the Charlottesville crowd to that restaurant all the time. And that all of Main Street had numbers of pretty high-end restaurants, along with, affordable ones for the masses. But they were drawing the Charlottesville crowd. So he ended up closing, and I guess
It's
a
in
few
real
others.
estate
So, yeah. But I feel it's very quaint and friendly. Yeah.
Well-
it's easy in and out. It's a fun place.
How can we, you've made the show easy, 45 minutes in.
Yay.
Piece of cake. How can we, Heather, find out more about Scottsville Supply Company?
Yeah. So I'll always say, come down to Scottsville and
Yes.
visit us in person. It's an amazing experience to walk in through our front door or back door. Plenty of parking either way. We have a honey tasting bar, and you can come and because honey is a whole nother show.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm giving a
Right.
talk to a Buckingham Garden Club on honey on Monday that you can just come and experience honey throughout the U.S. and globally. And then come talk to us and hug a beehive, touch it. You figure out what it is. If you can't make it down to Scottsville, because I know I'm only open Tuesday through Saturday, then visit our website, www.scottsvillesupplyco.com. Find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram, give us a call. We'd love to talk to you and tell you a little bit more about the amazing world of bees.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is
Awesome.
amazing. I love
You
the
crushed it
shop,
today.
and it's really fun. And I learned a lot. I keep learning every time I'm over there. They have lovely bee type or honey type products, lots of
Yeah,
products.
yeah. So we have gifts
yeah,
and
gifts
and everything alike
yeah.
like that. Yes.
We will archive the show in totality on caringforcreatures.org. We will also archive it on iliveseville.com. We'll take the audio and turn it into a podcast on iTunes. We will syndicate the show for 30 days across our network, 17 Facebook pages, 17 Twitter accounts, a daily e-newsletter that goes out to 108,000 people, and I Love Seville Instagram. Heather, you are awesome.
Well, I appreciate
was a
you inviting
great
me out
show.
today. I had
And
fun.
she's a cat lady too, by the
And
way.
a cat
She
lady.
loves
Yes.
cats also.
Yeah.
Sounds like she needs to
She has some store
adapt
cats.
that tuxedo cat.
No,
They have
we have store cats and we have cats at home and a dog and totally
More
animal
than
levelers. Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. Thursdays at 3 o'clock on the I Love Seville Network. Caringforcreatures.org is the website. Donate, and
Yes.
adopt some animals from Caring for Creatures. It's Central Virginia's first no-kill animal sanctuary. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good show.
Yay, it
Well
was a
done.
fun show.
Nicely done. It was easy,
All
right?
right. Yeah.